What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be breaking down and reviewing The Flash Season 7 Episode 2. But before we get started, make sure that you guys like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment down below any other video ideas for me. Guys, this episode was crazy. If you have not seen it, click off this video and go watch it. This was an amazing episode. I'd say this is actually better than episode 1, so let's just start off with what happened in the first scene. So the episode starts off with basically a remembrance ceremony for all of the Welleses, because obviously they died in the previous episode. They have like this room with objects that belong to people that Team Flash has lost over the years. I'm pretty sure this is actually the first time we've ever seen this room, and I thought it was actually pretty cool. So that was a pretty cool first scene. Then Allegra gets an alert on her computer at the Central City Citizen that she got a message from Iris. We already knew this was going to happen from the trailer for this episode, so that was expected. So then Cisco thinks he finds a way into the Mirrorverse, but then it ends up not working. So this is actually where Barry's speed thinking ability takes control, and it looks like it actually was in effect from the artificial speed force. It's like he was just like seeing moments into the future. This is completely different than I thought his ability would work, but it still was pretty awesome. But believe it or not, guys, this was not the best part of the episode. So then, after a scene with Eva unveiling her plan, Cisco decides to test Barry's speed thinking ability. We also get confirmation that this ability did come from the artificial speed force. Then Barry is able to complete an impossible task due to his new ability. Then Barry is able to think of a way to open a portal to the Mirrorverse in seconds, when if he didn't have this ability, it would probably take him, I don't know, weeks, days, months, something like that. So the way Barry comes up with to go to the Mirrorverse is by extracting some particles off of Eva to open a portal. Then we get a bunch of other scenes of Barry using this ability, and it's really, really cool. He brings out a bunch of whiteboards and just like explains things in like extreme detail. His ability is pretty cool at the start of the episode. So then Eva invades a McCulloch warehouse, and then we see the Flash there with his tachyon device. Cisco is also there. He uses the tachyon device to collect the particles that he needs to get to the Mirrorverse off of Eva. But then something weird happens to Barry. After he let Frost get hit from a blast from Eva, which was not expected whatsoever, this must have been the reason it said Cisco was hesitant to trust Barry's new ability in the synopsis for this episode, so that started to make a lot more sense as the scene went on. But then Barry is able to cure Caitlin from the blast in an instant, with Barry even thinking, he said he tested this thing like 2,000 times to see if it would work to cure Caitlin. It seemed like Barry was turning into somewhat of a thinker type of character at this moment. It's almost like he had lost all of his feelings and only thought facts. This is what makes Cisco not trust this ability, as we all knew from the synopsis. Then Barry figures out that Eva is also a mirror duplicate. He just like that snap, he just figures that out, and he decides to release that information to the public. This was to distract Eva so then they could open a portal to the Mirrorverse. Then we can clearly see that this ability has changed Barry completely. He is literally a completely different person. Then it seemed as if Barry was smarter than even Gideon, and he comes up with the solution that they have to choose who to save from the Mirrorverse, either Camilla and Singh or Iris. But then Barry decides to just go into the Mirrorverse alone after, you know, simulating how situations would go when he confronted Team Flash about this. So then Barry and Cisco have a bit of a disagreement in regards to Barry's new ability, and Barry tells Cisco about the fact that they don't have enough dark matter particles to pull everyone out of the Mirrorverse, so he just ended up choosing Iris instead of Camilla and Singh. So then this is where the rest of Team Flash, that being Cisco, Caitlin, and Allegra, decide to go against Barry after he says he has no feelings whatsoever and only wanted Iris because she knew some information in regards to Eva. I guess it's because they didn't have any type of tachyons in the artificial speed force to stop this from happening. That's why I guess Barry doesn't have very many feelings whatsoever. Then Barry fights Team Flash. After knocking out Cisco and Allegra, Frost actually injects Velocity X into her arm to fight him. This was one of the most fun scenes I've ever seen on The Flash. Frost with super speed. It was really cool. She was generating ice blasts while running versus Barry. I thought it was really, really cool to see. Her lightning was extremely light blue. I thought that was a very interesting color. I thought it would be like normal blue, just like Velocity X is usually. But I guess that looks pretty cool, having that light blue with Frost. Then she hits Barry with a lightning type of blast, but that doesn't really do anything to stop Barry, as his mind at this point is just too powerful. I've started to see a lot of the thinker at this point in this version of Barry. It was actually really, really surprisingly similar. So then after Barry takes care of the rest of Team Flash, he goes into the Mirrorverse and ends up talking to Iris, and he tries to get Iris into the portal. She eventually does go into the portal after resisting it a lot. Then she adapts to the normal world in a strange way. She like faints instantly as soon as she gets to the back to her world. Barry then realizes what he has done. He like turns back into his normal self somehow, and he decides to destroy the artificial Speed Force, stopping him from having super speed thinking, but also getting rid of his super speed in general. But then at the end, we get a little bit of a flashback scene all the way to Season 1, where Thawne ends up taking over the original Harrison Wells' body, and then we see where he buries him. We never actually saw that in Season 1, but then we see original Wells somehow come back to life. What could this mean, and how is this possible? Is this only something that happened in the post-crisis timeline? This is extremely interesting, and I can't wait to find out what happens in the next episode with all of this, because this was extremely confusing. I don't know how this is possible, and how did this not screw up Thawne's plan if this actually did end up happening in the past? They gotta explain this all in the next episode, or hopefully after the Eva storyline is wrapped up. But yeah, I'd say that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below, and what an episode. That was such a great episode. That was probably better than all of Season 6, I would admit. That was just a really entertaining episode in general. Make sure you guys comment your thoughts on this episode, and I'm really excited to see what else they got for us in regards to Reverse Flash, wrapping up the Eva storyline, the next main villain, whoever that might be. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.